Hey friends, it's Coco, and you're not going to believe where I'm recording at today. This is definitely an upgrade from the messy room / workout room / catch-all room. Definitely nicer than the recliner that I just chill out in. I am in the Aurora Arts Theater, guys. And if you have never been here, what the heck are you waiting on? Maybe the pandemic was probably a big deal. Maybe you're just now figuring out that you're going to start coming back and playing with us in the community. So we are back at it. And the reason why I'm here at the Aurora Arts Theater is I'm going to be talking to Peter. Hey, Peter.
Hey there. How you doing?
This is like my first guest since I walked away from radio.
Honestly, I'm beyond honored and a little confused as to why I was chosen, but I'll take it. I will take it.
They said you're the best person to BS with me and that you're going to fill my ego. So
I mean, that's fair. I mean, you are a beautiful woman, and I'm just happy to be here.
Yes. Well, speaking of beautiful women, you are performing in a chorus line that's all about some beautiful women. But
True.
Before we get into that, how long have you been performing here with the Aurora Arts Theater?
So I'm originally from Michigan.
My husband's from Michigan. Maybe
Really?
that's why we're, yeah.
Where from Michigan?
The hood.
Like from Detroit?
Yeah, like Detroit.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
like
grew
where
up-
the miles are at. So I
Yeah.
say, like, take me to the 8 Mile. And he's like, you really don't want to go, but
No,
like
no.
you see.
Well, it depends on which side of 8 Mile you're
So
on.
the wrong one.
Okay,
It's like- not the good one.
Well, no, I grew up about 50 minutes outside of Detroit.
Okay.
So we're even beyond the suburbs of the suburbs.
Okay.
So we're fine.
Okay.
We would just go in and visit and be like.
So
"Oh,
Jay
this is-"
wasn't fine. Like, he was like, no, really, like Eminem. I'm like, don't play. He's like, yeah, for real. That's where
I mean,
I was.
if he's on the wrong side of 8 Mile, then yeah.
He was there, and then there was another community, which I find interesting about how Michigan is like how it's like these little communities within communities. So Rosebud or Rosewood or Rose Hill is another.
Roseville.
Is another
Yeah,
one.
Roseville. That's
So
actually closer to me. That's
it's
only
real
like
nice.
20 minutes.
Yeah, it's super nice over there.
Well,
so.
yeah, on the other side of 8 Mile, it's all sweet and lovely and Starbucks
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Other side, not so much.
You know, I
the
think-
other side, it's liquor store and
I visited
gentleman's
that
club.
yeah.
It's fine.
I feel like every city has that, right?
I mean, that's
feel
true.
like
Actually, that was something when I moved into Corpus from my small little hometown. I would just drive around and then count all the strip clubs. I was like, oh, gentleman's club, gentleman's club. What is this cheetah? Is this a restaurant?
So where I'm from, there aren't any clubs. So I'm from a real small town, and so like we didn't even have like a liquor license or anything. So when I moved to Corpus, I was like, what? Y'all gotta what? Like so this was like really new, like that you just couldn't buy like wine in town. Like you would have to drive 30 minutes out of town. So
Oh, I would have moved very quickly.
I was like, well, yeah, it took me till I was 25 to go, what? So, no, not really. Okay, so you moved from Michigan.
Yeah. So I moved down here in
2015.
2015, and then I pretty much immediately, even before I moved down here, I looked to see what the community theater scene was.
So you're a theater person, dude, actor. You're
ever since I was like 7 or 8
Okay.
years old. It's always been the thing. I'm the youngest of 3 by like 8 and 9 years. So I've always kind of been the little entertainer. Like my parents, when they decided to have me to try to turn us around, like we're like, this one we're gonna get right. It's gonna be fun. This one's gonna work out. So as a result, I just came out pretty much tapping.
Singing and dancing.
Well, Michigan J Frog, right? Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. It was pretty much straight out the womb, which I'm sure was really awkward in the operating room. But at any rate,
Yeah.
But yeah, so I've always done it, and so that's when I was moving down to a new place. I was like, well, I gotta find a theater because there's no faster way that you could possibly make friends.
That's
like,
true.
Community theater.
Yeah.
I mean, some people will go to choir or whatever. Sports, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't understand that. But no, for me, like the thing about community theater in general, the reason why I think it's so brilliant as far as trying to meet people is because there's a place for absolutely everybody, right? And especially in community theater. So it's like, you can be on stage, you can be backstage, you can take tickets, you can work in the booth. There's so many opportunities.
That's true.
And yet we're still a part of like one big, like group trying to do something. It's like that's when people always talk about sports being so great, and they certainly are. Mm-hmm. But either you're on the field or are you slinging water? Like there's not as
and
many
there was
options.
only one cool water boy, okay?
Right, that's true.
And if you don't know who that is, did I just show how old I was? That if you don't know that the coolest water boy ever, just saying.
You can do it!
Yeah, and if you don't know who that is, I've just aged myself and I'm officially...
kids today, I swear.
I know, gosh. Okay, so I totally agree with finding your outlet and your people, and I never really thought about that there really is a job for everybody at the local community theater.
Even like with my mom, like my mom is like a wonderful woman and a good cook, but she, as far as like artistically, she always would look to all of us. My father is a singer and performer, has been since he was a teenager. My sister is very like arts and craftsy. And my brother, there it is a really remarkable artist, painter, right? My mom was like, not so much. But like, she still was there as a part of the community because she was like taking tickets or working backstage.
She also hauled y'all around in the vehicle for all of y'all fools. I'm just saying,
like, no.
Like that's like
nothing but respect. The fact that my mother survived, like between my sister and myself, and the attitude that we presented. Oh. When I found theater as a teenager, please.
I can only imagine.
My parents were called into my drama teacher's office at least a half a dozen times. It's like, he's doing it again. He won't stop.
And you're like, doing what? I'm
like, doing what? You're the one who's doing something. I'm just trying to present my art to the world. I might have been a bit much, a little dramatic.
I have a shirt that says, I'm just a little dramatic. So when I was like, is it me or am I dramatic? They're like, oh no, you're dramatic. I'm like, am I?
Yeah.
Am I?
To this day, I still hear it often. Every time I get overly upset about absolutely nothing. Andrea,
oh my gosh.
My fiance is always like, really though? Are you?
Okay, so, Andrea, I laugh because I'll ask my husband the same thing. He's like, yeah, that was a little, like, I'm going to call somebody else who's totally going to agree with me. So that's hilarious.
It's actually the interesting thing about her daughter. All right, so her daughter, not related to me in any way, but both of us are we're like literally the same type of person.
Are y'all?
And the same type of personality. So we both get overly dramatic about everything.
Yeah, Andrea. Make sure you treat her nice for Christmas and extra.
Extra. Absolutely.
And Mother's Day and all the things.
Oh, yes.
All right, so we're chatting with Peter. We are hanging out at the Aurora Arts Theater. We have a chorus line. So I know that we've had a few shows since the pandemic, but I liked what Dylan Rio said, the marketing director. He said, now more than ever, people are craving live performances. And I believe that too. And I think we just forgot how much we missed doing things like this to get out of the house. Like, we just forget on how much joy a live performance can bring. Like, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. And a chorus line is so popular, like, you can tell people are like, what?
Oh, no, it's absolutely true. And actually, it's been an interesting situation for me because, so in a chorus line, I play Zach, who is the director. Mm-hmm. So for those who aren't familiar, a chorus line is basically you're watching like an audition. Like, a whole bunch of dancers show up to audition for this chorus review. And so then my character, Zach, is the one who's putting them through their paces. So as a performer, I sit at the back of the house in the dark, and I have to watch every performance.
Okay.
Right? Where normally if you're in a show, you do your bit, and then there's a chance you go off stage, and you goof off, and you're like, oh my gosh. Yeah. Like, talk about what's happened. Oh my God, do you see how they screwed up that step? Or whatever.
Right.
But in this one, like, I'm in it, because the other thing that I have to do with something that's really important to me is, so each performer, my character asks them a lot of questions, personal questions, just try to get to know who they are. And so that actor has to look at me and present all of this information.
Like over the crowd.
Yeah, over the crowd. And
so you're the audience, so you're over the audience.
Precisely,
okay.
Yeah. So the thing is that,
that's cool.
I'm in the dark, and the actor can see me because it's a beautiful small theater here. It's one of my favorite things about Aurora. I just
only
love.
108 seats.
It's so
intimate and special and just genuine.
Oh yeah, it's one of. The theater I used to work at back home was like 800 or 900 seats, right? Great, full balcony, and it was neat, for a big theater. But in my college days and this, I prefer these smaller theaters.
I've been to so many concerts. And they're fabulous too. But if I can do a one-on-one intimate with just somebody in a guitar, there's just something about it. There's a moment there.
Well, you had mentioned before about the energy, right? About like coming back and what it means, and it's like, oh my gosh, like you so feel that because like like a show doesn't have to be perfect.
Yeah.
Because like the imperfections are like kind of what draws you in. Because I've been sitting there. So we've done now 4 weeks. We have 3 weeks left of the show, and I've sat here all of these weeks and watching like the show evolve. and watching the energy that comes across from the performers, seeing how it like spills into and absorbs into the audience, and how that symbiotic relationship between the people in the seats and the people on the stage, and the more that one side pushes, the other side engages. I mean, it's everything that I've loved about theater, and it's like so magnified in a space like this.
I was gonna ask, do the shows change by week, where you're talking about like the energy changes? Like, it's not the same every time, because like what the actress is feeling, what the energy is, like you said, what the audience is doing, and how are they feeling
all of those things. Like,
so cool.
That's what's so fascinating. So as a group of performers, right? All of us have been through this so many times, because by the time you make it to actually perform, you've obviously been going through it for 6 weeks, 8 weeks, or whatever. So we all pretty much know every ebb and flow of the show. So as a performer, what any of us really enjoy is that when you perform the same lines over and over again, it comes down to almost like turning up and down the volume on yourself of intensity.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah, because you're constantly adjusting. Well, you can either do it the exact same way, but how
boring.
can you? It gets boring. So you're like trying to adjust. And so when someone kicks up a little bit, in one, maybe their dance number, and then someone else is trying some new stuff with their vocals. And then as we go into the back at intermission or after the show, we're all like, oh, wow, I felt that, or I saw that, or what the heck were you thinking?
It's almost like when you're bringing inflection on your voice, like you put emphasis on different words. Like you're saying the same sentence, but every time you inflect a different word, it brings out a whole different meaning or surge of energy.
A perfect example is, when we did our dress rehearsal, Lila, who is my fiance's daughter, and my best friend is going to be my best man in about a year, Daryl. They came to the show and they watched, and we went out after the show. And both of them, I was like, well, what did you think? And they're like, we hated you. You were so mean.
Cool.
They're like, you were so mean, and we didn't like how you approached Cassie. Cassie, my character, was in a relationship with one of the characters, and all of a sudden she's come back after all of these years.
Ooh.
Yes, so much drama. So and Alex Shaw, who plays Cassie. It's a lot of fun. Everything we just described, and this constant ebb and flow where we're constantly adapting. There's one moment where at first I would grab her wrist, and then she would move her hand, and then I was like, I don't know about that. How about a hand? Like, what about my hand on your face? And she's like, okay. And then we're like, no, that wasn't right. So now we moved it to I just put my hand on the outside of her hand, and then she puts her hand across to my forearm to pull it down. So all of these little
Which makes
moments.
more sense, because I'm thinking if I was in the moment with somebody that wasn't supposed to be in the moment, what would it feel like?
See, that's it. And then you can definitely feel that energy on stage too. It's really interesting. But so getting back, I'm such my sister when I tell stories. I always go off on tangents, and I'm like, wait, where was
Me
that?
too.
Where was the path? Where was the path? But anyway, so my fiance's daughter, so Lila and Daryl came to the show. They said they hated me. They said I was so mean. So the next day when we opened, I reassessed who Zach was, because since I'm in the back,
are you supposed to be that kind of character though?
Well, they don't really specify.
Okay.
Right? But the thing is that so the way I've approached the role, because I'm effectively a voice in the dark, because outside of the people who sit right next to me or the people on this side, most of the audience can't see me. They just hear me, and they might just see a shadow. So I'm approaching the role like a voiceover role.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, so if I'm coming across too aggressive, I took a step back and looked through my lines and went, okay, this is where I'm peaking too much, or I'm putting maybe a little bit of a growl. So I pulled it back and tried to make my tones a lot more friendly and full of more sunshine at certain moments, more playful. And so it's, that's the thing about just performing that's so fascinating to me, about how the smallest changes can completely alter how the audience perceives you. It worked because I have not heard that anybody hates me since that moment. So I'm like, score!
So you did it. So you were able to pull off the gruffness a little bit and do that?
It all out. But then if I had come in late from, say, a rough day of work, and then get to intermission, they're like, you kind of sound a little mean. And I'm like, you're right, I'm sorry.
But you're like, haven't you been on traffic on Everhart? I know that the construction is done, but have you been on Everhart?
Well, and I'm a physical therapist assistant in home health. So my whole day is traffic.
Dude.
I spend all day in my car. And then I get to come here and then
relax, chill a little bit.
As a matter of fact, there was one day in particular, I showed up, I could not have been grumpier. I did not want to be here. I wanted to go home. A lot of days I end up coming in my scrubs because I have to leave straight from my drive straight here.
Yeah.
So I walk in, and Alex and Peter Lopez, who's the musical director for the show, they were working on something, and they're like, okay, we want to run through this section. And I was like, fine. You just want to like sit for a bit. Fine, we'll do this thing. And we started, and the second we did the first 2 or 3 words, because, you know, I knew I had to be in that place.
Yep.
Everything was gone. We finished it, and I was like, oh my God, I feel so much lighter, so much better.
See, that's a good kind of masking. I do the bad kind of masking where I'm just like kind of going through the motions. But I feel like, and you had mentioned it earlier, it's like when you find your place and you find your people and you're able just to kind of shake it out and get into being Zach, where you're able to release and be creative.
Yeah.
And I think that's so important, that no matter what we're doing, is that you have to find that outlet. And to me, this is continue to do the podcasting, is to still be a voice to share and do those things, because we give so much to other things that don't fill up our buckets, and we get so drained. Even though you're people that you work with for physical therapy or occupational therapy, whatever it is, with home health, that's such a draining
it's
tasking.
rewarding. It's rewarding. Like, I mean, it's the reason why I stuck with it. But yeah, it does.
It's so fun that you're able to come here and enjoy it. And this is also a great place to have fun, check off some fun on your own box and get back to doing live theater. So tickets are available for $20. You can get them at auroraartstheater.com. You can also get them right here at the box office. I have a phone number for you. If you're old school, 851-9700. I don't know. We used to use a phone when I was a kid, but y'all are so like, oh, I'm just going to get it online, whatever.
Well, I think collectively, the more that we've been able to use our phone, the more all of our social anxiety has gotten worse. Like, think about when you
true.
if you actually have to call a restaurant to
to
order, like, say, takeout or whatever.
Can't do it.
Like,
I actually saw.
You don't even have to order pizzas without like our phone does everything now.
I saw a sister, and I thought this was so cool. She was teaching her younger brother how to order food on the phone, and she had it like a little script written down for that reason, so that she can teach her brother to talk on the phone.
Yeah.
I was at a meeting today with like a little collaboration meeting with some girls. And I said, I'm just going to call them. They're like, what? What do you mean? I was like, I'm going to just call the number and just ask them. They're like, I can't. I'm like, maybe it's just because of what I do. Like, it's easy. I'd rather just talk to somebody than have to type out a 40.
Well, I'm somewhere in the middle. Like, I do appreciate
I am too.
But there's certain points where I'm like, okay, this is going to take me too long to type out. Yes. I'm just going to call.
Mm-hmm. But then you have to send a text. Can I call?
Yeah.
Are you available?
Is this okay?
Are you going to ghost me?
I don't want to scare you.
Yes.
All right. We're actually going to use the box that you carry in your pocket to do something other to stare at cat videos. Okay?
Yeah.
So can we just for a minute?
So true. Peter with the Aurora Arts Theater, he's playing Zach at a chorus line. There's lots of great local talent here in town. Not only do we have these insane actors and actresses, but the talent of the musical aspect of like the music that's coming is like just insane. Like, you're going to be blown away by the talent, the local talent that's here.
There's so many things about that make Aurora so incredibly special. I mean,
I love
the fact that it's always a live band.
Yes.
Like, that is the most incredible thing from a guy who's dealt with canned music like at least 90% of the time. And for them to always have a live band, which as a performer is just so beautiful. The energy is so much better.
It's so much better.
Yeah.
And guess what? It doesn't scratch.
That's
right. Also what a CD. Okay, never mind. The way you listen to me, your Spotify's not skipping. So, okay.
Well, no, it could be buffering. It could be buffering.
Is it still buffering?
It doesn't occasionally. Hey, there's some outlying areas that don't have great Wi-Fi, okay?
That's true. If you're in that outlying area, carpool into town so that you can have a big date night in the city. Okay, so you've already been running you got 3 more weeks of the show?
Yeah, we've been running for 4 weeks. The crowds have been outstanding. Okay. And as you mentioned earlier, it's such a well-known musical, and I've seen, again, I love my perspective because I see so many of the audience members like mouthing along and singing the songs, thankfully quietly. We do appreciate quietly, but we definitely want people to be involved, and it's been incredible. And honestly, I was at a point because I'm so busy with my job, and after the pandemic, I've gotten away from it. Mm-hmm. Outside of doing Rocky Horror last year, I'm just like, you know what? I think maybe I've reached the point. Like, I'm just going to hang it up. But then doing this show, I was like,
the spark is like,
I was like, oh crap, I still really love this and I still need it. And I'm like, what's next? And I'm trying to put in a bid to direct a show for Aurora next year. And
very cool.
And possibly might be working on something with them for Christmas. So,
ooh.
Yeah, they hooked me. It's honestly, Aurora, this theater is such a good group. They are just so kind and supportive and welcoming to absolutely everyone. And the environment they cultivate has created, I think, some of my favorite moments in my theater life here. It's really that's beautiful. It's a family, because it was a family-owned. The family started this theater, and they continue to treat everyone who walks through the door, patron or volunteer alike, exactly the same way.
12 years?
Yes, 12 years.
Where we're at, 12 years of running,
it's
incredible.
Especially, I'm not going to lie, like a lot of people, I was like, will they make it through the pandemic?
Listen.
And it got so scary that, it's such a blessing that so many people contributed and came out and to rummage sales and whatever to keep this place afloat. Because I was like, please, Lord, please.
Yeah. Well,
you can take a lot of things. I might even not even miss movie theaters anymore, but don't take Aurora.
And I think that's just what we were just sharing earlier, that people are excited and want to start coming back, and of course do it safely, do it healthy. Like if you're not feeling well, don't do the things, but just live your life and come enjoy and spend your time. Aurora Arts Theater, date night, girl night, boy night, whatever. Just come out, enjoy yourself. Really quick, we're gonna wrap it up with this: the Rocky Horror Picture Shows. Yes. That is, I'll have to come back and we'll just spend another time on that, because if you have not experienced a Rocky show here at the Aurora Arts Theater, or you even living your life during Halloween,
you're doing it wrong.
All right, you're doing it wrong.
Is it even Halloween?
Is it?
Right? I don't think it is.
It's not. And if you don't come dressed up, you're doing it wrong.
Right.
Okay, so I was like, when I met Peter earlier, I was like, I feel like I've known you. And I think I have a picture of him from many years ago when he was Frankfurter.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I do, because we had the same tights. That's how I was like,
oh. My mother regrets. Every time I've done it 8 times. Every time I do it again, my mother's like, oh my God, Peter, please. There'll be pictures. I'm like, Mother,
there will be.
My behind is all over the internet now.
Too late.
I'll never get them back. I said, think of how happy I'll be when I look back at 70 and go, look at that. Look at that.
Also a nice pooch.
It's not bad. Yeah. I'm proud of it. Not anymore, though.
Yeah, I was
Layla,
is that what it is?
Lila
will not like it. I'm just saying.
Considering that I proposed to my fiance after the last performance of Rocky Horror last year. In costume.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Yeah, so but thanks to my mother, I told my mother, she was not pleased. But she said, Peter, will you cover up? So in the beginning of the show, I come in a large jacket. So I wore my jacket, but she was upset that I didn't button it.
You're like, Mom.
But to be fair, the camera was off stage left, so the camera was situated so if I had not worn the jacket, it would have just been ass straight, just right at my butt.
So you're like, Mom, I did you a favor.
Right.
I wore
You're welcome.
the jacket that you're welcome, Mom. Hello, my baby. Hello, my darling.
See? Straight out the womb. It all comes back around.
Peter, I enjoyed this so much.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
I want you to save some energy for this weekend show. For the next 3 weeks, again, $20, AuroraArtsTheater.com. If you're old school, you can come to the box office. We are on Everhart Road from 9 until 3:30. You can also check them out on all the social media handles. Peter, do you have like a special social media that people check in with you?
Oh, goodness, no.
Okay, you're
I'm virtually invisible everywhere else.
Oh, you're smart. The rest of us are like, here's my credit card and all the sizes I wear on Amazon and Shein and all those things. So
I think maybe I should be more ambitious, but I'm like, I'm fine.
It's really not worth it. It's stressing. So you're doing A-okay, Peter.
Well, I appreciate it.
All right, we'll see where the next episode of Coco's Corner lands. I don't know if it'll be as fancy as the Aurora Arts Theater. I'm not sure. So
don't shortchange yourself. Don't shortchange yourself.
We'll see who else would like to host a podcast live, but it won't be center stage. It won't be center stage. I appreciate you so much. What do we say? Break a leg?
That's right. Break a leg.
Break a leg.